All right, guys. Hello, everyone. So there will be a series of workshop. The goal is to build a feature, but some specific functionality throughout each of the workshop. And we will be touching many tools, technologies, process, and the procedures. And we will be actually connecting the dots, and that will include each of the software development team member, actually the roles and responsibilities. To my experience, this is the most of the hardest things you can think of being a software development team. So today is the first session. Out of the large topic, we'll be covering only 2 hours. And in these 2 hours, we'll be actually the building the foundation, and we'll continue the next week. 1 second. Sorry. Okay, so without any delay. So of course, this session is to cover for someone, especially our students who has been with us. The many things will be actually the refreshing for them, and many things, the purpose of the workshop is you should be able to connect the dot, or you should be able to refresh your understanding one more time and mix and match. So end-to-end feature development presented by myself and Ayman. So our goal is to actually, we will be writing the code to develop the backend APIs and connect with the front end, creating the database, connect the backend with database, and connect backend with the front end. And of course, we are going to develop the API. So it means we are going to read those API through the Swagger. As we will be reading the Swagger, definitely we need to do the testing. So we are going to bring the Postman for the testing. And we will see the front end. We are going to see the back end. Of course, we'll be running some database, the query as well. So we are going to actually, without any assumption, without thinking this and that, we will be actually covering every single dot. You should be able to take notes, and then actually you should be able to ask question next Monday, the same time, okay? So this will be continuous journey. And after next Monday, we should be able to give this code base to the DevOps team, and they should be able to deploy on the cloud environment. That's the goal. And the QA should be able to use for the testing as well. And for this, we are going to use actually the GitHub, so that it will be public for the time being. Okay, so that's actually in a nutshell, what you're going to do today. It will be only, if we run the whole workshop, it can take the whole night. So we're not going to do this. We're going to do this 2 hours, 2 hours. So let's get it started. We're going to use the VSE, as called the Visual Studio Code. It is the IDE. We are going to write the code. Okay, backend code, front-end code. We are going to use MongoDB. It is non-SQL or NoSQL database. That's where we are going to store the product creation data. Mongoose we are going to use is a library that simplifies data modeling and interaction. Of course, you're going to see practical. Express.js we are going to use. JS means JavaScript. Express.js we are going to use, it's a backend, actually the framework or library to use the business logic. Node.js we are going to use, which is runtime engine for the JavaScript. And we are going to use the Next.js, a React.js framework for building the server rendering and statically generated web application. It means the framework for the front end is React. Of course, every framework has some the drawback. So so that the other framework actually on top of the existing framework improve those existing issues. So React, the Next.js on top of the React framework, so that we are actually going to use for the front end, means website. Okay. HTML says we're going to use the HTML for the product structure on the website. And we are going to use the SAS, of course, which is the kind of the programming language for the CSS. As we know, CSS is nothing but actually the beautification of any website. So all the color and the looking good, where the button should be, and the looking, padding, those kind of things, the CSS provide. So CSS has also the extended, which is called the SAS. As we are going to build the front and back end, of course, we need to do the testing. And we are going to use the Postman for the testing. Our goal is the back end today. And then, of course, the next week, we will be connecting the backend API with front end. We are going to use the GitHub to actually push the code, backend code, and the front end code. We're going to use the two code base. One is for the front end, one is for the backend. The goal is for the backend because we start developing the backend logic. It does not mean that's the only way. If you have the front-end developer, back-end developer, you actually develop the simultaneously development happens because we are going to follow the Agile Scrum. As I mentioned, we are going to use the Swagger UI. That's we are going to actually exposing all the APIs so that we can actually understand what each of the API does and the details about the API specification. And we are going to use the Ant design. It is the ready-made design that the developer, front-end developer takes and build actually the UI super fast. All right. I think he did not bring the, let me see. He did not bring the Agile ALM, means the project management tools, and he did not bring the Agile Scrum, which is the framework he has been following to build this, the project. So please take the note, bring those. So I already mentioned this. So you can actually, if this is for this specific part for everybody, the developer write the code, QA and QEs write the code, and that Cloud Ops write the code because they write the code for the provision the infrastructure. So everyone can use the BS code. BS code is actually the open source, the software developed by Microsoft. It is based on the JavaScript. The library, or you can call the software is, the framework is Electron.js. Electron.js is used to actually develop and build the cross-functional desktop-based software. So the Microsoft has used the Electron.js to build the BS code. It is one of the most widely and popular in the developer community around the world. So this is just writing the code, debugging the code, and all the good stuff. And to follow that, you can just simply click this, and then you should be able to see all the steps. Good. So team has put together, you can download it, and you can actually, based on your operating system, you can download and install it. And so basically everything is given here. Download it, you can install it, click run, make sure you are in the admin of your computer, click I accept, and then actually where is the location of the installation for this software. And then finally, then just give the start menu name. You can give any name you want. Leave the default is fine. And then actually you can add this, make sure you can add this so you don't need to worry about anything because it will be configuring on the system variable so that it can work with the Windows operating system. If you want to see the desktop icon of the VS Code, you just click here, it should be fine. All right. And then click install, and it will take a couple of minutes. And then getting ready and finish. And then you open your VS Code, done. That's the number one steps. For the developer, they always use the higher configuration of the compute system. It means the 12 gigabyte RAM, 16 gigabyte RAM, can be more. Some of the developer use the 32 gigabyte RAM, and the i7, i9, those high configuration the machine, because you are writing the code, it actually the build and run. Okay. All right, so let's go here. Okay, so you have to fix that as well. Sorry, I should go. Okay, so that's number one steps. Again, then of course we will need the MongoDB. So MongoDB, we are going to create the product, we need to store the product, like when you create the product, update the product, delete the product, we need to store somewhere else. So that will be the database. In this case, we are going to use the MongoDB. And the software stack we can call, or it is called MARN stack. MongoDB is the database. Express.js is the backend, the framework of JavaScript. React.js is the front-end framework for the front-end development, HTML, CSS, and consuming the API. And the N means Node.js, it is actually a runtime engine for the JavaScript to run the code. Okay, and you can read more, but our database will be MongoDB. It is stored the data with the documented format. So exactly the way you see the Postman payload, it exactly the same way, because the MongoDB stored the payload, or they stored the data as a .json format. Okay, so whatever you see on the Postman, MongoDB works the same way, because it stored the data in the JSON format. And okay, you can hold your question now. Okay, so Mongoose we are going to use. Mongoose is an object data modeling library for MongoDB. It acts as a bridge. Remember, read this part. It acts as a bridge connecting our Node.js, means our backend application, with the database. So that's actually we call it driver, making the interaction between the code end and the database more seamless and structured. So basically, Mongoose, you can call the driver, or it's called the object data modeling, that is used between the backend code base and the database, so that the data can be the data goes, and the logic actually, the backend make the logic, decide the logic, and then tell the database you can give the data or you can deny the data. So basically, it's an integration. Mongoose provide the built-in validation features that allows you to enforce data integrity. With Mongoose, you can implement predefined structure or schema for your collection. So that's the word I was waiting for. In MongoDB, we call the collection. In the relational database, we call the table, but they are the same thing. In MongoDB, we actually it stored the data with the JSON format. In the traditional database, it stored the data as a column data type, and the row is the data, actual user data. In Mongoose, the left side is the key, means the data type, and the right side is the value, which is how the JSON works. With Mongoose is built on top of MongoDB driver. I think that's the true statement. So Mongoose is built on top of the MongoDB driver. So driver actually the connect between the backend and the database, making it easier for developers to interact with MongoDB while executing the queries. We'll go over more details. So Node.js is an open source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment that allows developers to run JavaScript code on the server side. So what happened basically when JavaScript actually born, means came to the market, it has been invented to work on the browser. Means you not only use the HTML and CSS, you need to do so much automation on the browser. So JavaScript actually was dominating on the browser, only dominating the programming language on the browser. On the web, it's a JavaScript. But what happened, the JavaScript on the server side, so who brought it? Used by the Google Chrome. So what happened exactly? So Node.js allows developers to use the JavaScript for the both front end and the back end development, making it a versatile the tools for building web application. So basically, we are going to use the JavaScript to write the backend business logic, and to do this, to run this, we use the Node.js. Simple. It's a runtime engine for the JavaScript. So you can read more details as you want, but I'm not going to do this. To install so you need to install the IDE we showed you. Now you need to install the Node.js to mimic, to follow us. So again, you go there and then open your web browser and go type it here, nodejs.org. On the Node.js homepage, you will see two versions, LTS and the current. Okay. And then you always select the LTS, means long-term supported. Download it, continue, and then continue, then install it, and you should be just fine. And on the terminal, right? After you install, you just simply go on your terminal, you just say node B. If it is installed properly, it will just simply say to you and you're done. So what is done? Your ID is done and your programming language is done. Means your environment is getting ready to set up. All right. Okay, so let's go back. Okay. So as mentioned, for all the modern application, web-based application we develop, we actually store all the backend logic, all the business logic in the backend. Express.js, there is lots of the framework. Express.js is the Node.js based the framework that is we are going to use to write the backend logic, and that's the purpose we use the Express.js. Simple. You can read yourself to learn more details. The Next.js is an open source JavaScript framework built on top of the React.js. So Express.js we are going to use for the backend writing the API, means business logic. So now we are going to, for the front end, we are going to use the React.js and the Next.js. Next.js is an open source JavaScript framework built on top of React.js. So React.js is a super popular framework for the front end. It is developed by the Facebook, I believe. And of course, every framework has the shortcoming, as I mentioned in the beginning. So the Next.js actually fulfilling the React.js, the shortcoming. But Next.js is built on top of the React.js. It means the Next.js using everything of React.js, and they just use their own flavor and make their own framework. Okay, you can read more details as you want. But the installation guide, let's go to the installation guide. So again, you will be, after you install the Node.js, you are good actually, right? So after you go to this, you go to the Node V version, right? And npm space -v. Once you actually install the Node.js, then you're good. At this moment, all these things you see, all the framework we call, simply they call the package. Okay, they're all package. So now in the Node.js, anything you want to install, you call the npm. It's called the Node Package Manager. Note for you, if you have not installed the Node.js properly, then npm will not work. Okay, so make sure that's the reason the command 1 is mandatory for you to verify and make sure you get the outcome. If it is not done, you have to go back to the Node.js installation steps. So now we are going to use npm-v, and then we are going to just use this. So you will see npx create next app, all this good stuff we are going to do. Basically, we are going to install the Next.js framework or the library or the package, basically. And then we are going to do all this step here. And so you'll find out how actually install from this scratch after we install the Node.js environment. Okay. Okay, so we will be doing this as well. So we got our backend so far. Okay. Okay. And we can stop here because it will take the whole night. So we decided to cover this evening only the backend side, means backend development. Okay, so now let's go back to the Agile ALM. That's where all our user story is. Okay, so let's go. So now let's go back to the Agile ALM. So that's we use the project management, the platform actually, to store all our user story and to store our user story, and then actually keep track our user story, make the progress. So with that said, I think create a product. This is the user story. So make sure this user story has been missing everything. Is this the one, Aman?
Yes, this is the one. If you check the tasks, it has all the details.
Nope. So you see this? When that's the reason we need the good product owner. Okay. I am actually covering in everything is possible. Of course, he's not a product owner. So user story is a small piece of the functionality that business wants to develop. That's it. So when we create a product, as a seller, I want to create a product. That's it. In this product, I want to add some of the attributes like the product name, product description, product title, the number of product I have, all the good stuff based on the requirements I have. So that information goes here so that the development team, means the backend developer, front-end developer, QA, everyone can understand equally, and actually they can do the estimation. So this part is completely missing. I normally do not say much. I actually give the feedback, the open, so that everyone can learn. So basically everything is start with the user story. So next week you will see this user story is fully done. Okay. So from the user story, actually we create all the task. Okay. So from the user story, we actually create the task. So basically, okay, so that's the task. Task is important. I remember if the user story has a 20 hours, combination all the task. If the user story has a 20 hours, right? High, and then we say the 20 hours, right? And then business value is new functionality. Start date is, what happened? Today, and end date is, because we have to go at least a couple of weeks, this, okay? And then say, as a seller, I want to create a product on the seller portal so that a buyer can see the product when they browse my website. Okay, let's fix all the good stuff here. Create, and then I want to create a product. Okay, and then make sure you follow the all the punctuation and the acceptance criteria. Okay, let's do something. I need to get it done, otherwise it will not be given. I am opening a browser, and then I will type the URL. I will type my username and password. I will I will log in on the dashboard. I will create a product, and the product, what is this called? The payload. Okay, so I'm just typing super fast so that we can get something else. And this is it. Okay, so a user story is something the entire development team can understand what we are going to accomplish after completing this user story. User story has been the product owner writes user story, business analyst write the user story. They are the core people write the user story. Every project, they follow the different mechanism approach to write the user story. There is no right, there is no wrong approach. As long as the team understand what they're accomplishing end of the user story, that's all matter. But it is that there is the behavioral approach, means you tell every step, given, when, then approach, so that the developer, the development team can understand the entirely, and then they can actually engage a conversation in the planning meeting. They can ask the question, and finally they can actually do the estimation, and that estimation actually goes here. Okay. So the quickly, of course, you are going to do this part, and you are going to do this part, and then finally, and this is the 2 tasks today, because there is quite a bit of task involved, but this is the 2 things. Let's see what he did. So set up a backend framework. Activity is development. Okay, and then 5 hours. I believe it took more than that, but let's say 5 hours, and this is needed. Business logic. All right, if you do not understand something, you do not touch anybody's the task or the user story. This is not a best practice. Okay, so let's read this. So set up the backend project environment. Of course, we install the IDE. We downloaded the Node.js. We are going to actually install the Express.js and the Next.js. Okay. Connect MongoDB Atlas to the project. Mongoose will be used as an object data modeler. Create a schema for the product. The properties will be, this is the one. So this should go actually there. So this actually go here. Good. So that's actually the payload should be like this. So everything you see, there is nothing else here remaining. Okay. All right. Let's go back, read here one more time. And what is this called? We are going to use the Cloudinary, because that's actually the S3, means that we have to store the pictures somewhere else. In this case, we are not going to use the database. We are going to use the S3, and we are using the Cloudinary. The seller should be able to create, read, update, and delete product. Again, this is we are doing the creating part. There will be another story for the read, another story will be update, another story will be delete. So there will be 4 more user story. Okay. So of course, you are not expecting a backend developer or the front end developer, they write the user story. They understand whatever they understand. And this is the reason the product owner, they actually write everything well written, so that the things can be understood by everybody, and then people can actually do the estimation and perform their task. So basically anytime you work in any sprint, when you create something, it should be in the new. When you actually start working on it, it should be on the active, means you are working on it. And once you resolve, you go resolve here, and then you have to do the review, and you can close. This is also the different for each of the project. Again, each team, they follow their own life cycle. They want to do how they want to do. There is no right or wrong approach. There is what is called a blueprint of the Agile Scrum, but the team follows what they want. Team want to adjust how they want. So this is basically the story part. Now let's go back. I think we are good here. Now he can share the screen, and we can start the hands-on. Any question? If you guys any question, please hold the question. We'll be answering after the session. Okay, Hanzala, thank you. Hey, gentlemen, you can share the screen, and we can start. So let me go over this, so that of course you saw the user story, right? Couple of things. So basically, this will be your end product, a product creation. So here is the HTML, here is the CSS, here is the Next.js, and here is the React.js, and here is an integration with the backend. A small interface, but everything is already implemented. So we are showing you the visual that what we are going to accomplish after we write the code. So the product name you'll be providing. image URL means, of course, every product have a pictures, and then the price, and then you can put the 1200, and category, it is the category you will be selecting. And then quantity, how many quantity of the product you have as a seller, and this is a great laptop, and you will be submitting, right?
Let me just get a URL for the product
Yeah.
page.
So we need a picture. So he's actually getting a picture. So now you are exactly seeing the end product, so that you can see the big picture. After we accomplish this, you will see what we do. Okay. All right, submission is done, and we got a new product, right? Good. So that's actually our end outcome. Are you good?
Yeah.
All right, let's get started now.
Okay, so 1 second.
So as we install the VS Code, we open the VS Code, and the operating system he is using Mac OS. Regardless of which operating system you use, it really does not matter to us. You just use whatever you want. Once you use open the VS Code, now you'll be actually open a new terminal. I think where you'll be running the code as well. And then you actually create a project. So project name is product. Okay. And create. And then you just open. So now you just created a folder in your desktop, and we just give the name. So that's our project structure. All right. We are on the same location now. The way that we give the folder name or directory name, we are in this location. All right. Very good. So what is this? Can you explain this quickly?
So basically, we just initialized npm.
Got it. Anything to write the code, you always use many the packages, libraries, or the framework, whatever you call it. In the Node.js language, one more time, everything is stored in the package. So we just initialize the package, which is npm space init space -y. So now we got the package.json. This is actually the file where we store all the library that will be used for this project. It means the front end, the Next.js, and the Express.js, whatever any library we use, everything will be stored here. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me show you what it looks like.
Okay, so again, this is also the JSON format. So as you see, .json means the JSON format is what is called JavaScript
Object notation.
Object notation. Okay, so it is the key here. The left side is the key, right side is the value. So this is the structure of the JSON format. Okay, continue, please.
Okay, so we're gonna install some more packages.
Sure. Can you? I cannot see this.
Can you see now?
Clear. Each time you write a syntax, clear the screen.
Okay.
Okay. And then make your terminal larger. Okay.
This?
Go slowly. Yep. The control plus. Control plus. Thank you. So we are going to install more packages. So you have to always, you install the packages, you have to type npm space package name. Go ahead.
So we're gonna install body parser.
Yes, because we need the request body, response body of a payload of a payload, which is our business logic to create a product. Am I right?
Yes.
Right.
So we're basically installing a lot of packages at once, so that's why we can just write all of it in one line.
Sure. So what it's saying, as I mentioned, to build this, the interface, create a product, we need to use multiple packages. So you can do one by one, or you can actually write them, write the package name, space another package, space another package, space another package. And then it will be installed all together. And where they stored, they will be stored on the package.json. And if you type anything wrong, it will just give you the error. He did not write the install. So now you are in the second steps. We are showing you from the scratch as a Marni stack and the student. You should be able to follow along just to expose yourself building something from the scratch. Okay, so now we got the package -lock.json. So explain about this too.
Okay, so this basically shows all of the version of the packages that are installed at this moment.
Okay, so we just run the command npm space install space all the package name. So when the install is created another the .json file, which is package-lock. Lock means you're not going to change the version of this, the packages. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Let's go.
So there's another package that we have to install. It's called NodeMon.
NodeMon, okay. So
So
what is this?
So NodeMon basically, whenever you make a change to your code, it's gonna automatically restart the server.
Exactly.
So we have to like make some changes in the package.json
Got it.
for
Okay.
that.
So when you build the full stack web application, your front end is sending the request continuously, and your backend has to run. It never can stop. So NodeMon basically it will be making sure the backend is running as expected. Am I right? All right.
Yes. Yes.
So now we actually added the couple of line, which is called the script. In JavaScript, it's called the script, basically. To start node space server, another line, nodemon dash server. So that's our package.json, the enhancement.
So now we're gonna start creating the server, SAR Express server. So we're gonna create a new file called server.js.
Okay, so JavaScript, because everything is JavaScript, and you will be watching. We are writing the backend logic. We are not going to write HTML and CSS, because in the backend there is no space of the HTML and CSS. We are all will be JavaScript, because the programming language is JavaScript. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so now we're going to require Express.
Yep. So in this is the part, of course, who is exposing who knows JavaScript, they will be easily understanding what we are doing here. If you don't know, it's okay. You just exposing yourself. The end outcome is how actually the user story converted into the backend, the logic, the business logic, and how it becomes an API. That's your outcome. For the Marni stack, the entire thing is outcome. For the QA, you will be learning the same thing, exposing. For the cloud ops, the same thing. Your end goal is from the scratch, and plus you are learning how the code is getting built, developed and built. Okay, go ahead.
So then we're going to basically, we're gonna use the cores. It's another package that we installed. So this is basically, this allows data transfer between browsers and servers. So that allows it to happen. So that data can be transferred much more securely, basically.
Correct. Okay. So again, this is the mechanism between the front end and the back end.
So we're also going to set up port number. So say like we can be running at like port 4000. And so let's just create like a basic route. So, and then it's like an arrow function. And
So
then we can do,
while he's writing the code, let's go to the port number. This is the actually the network application. They work. They have the specific the extension we call the port number. So there is a 65,000 port number. By the way, I can't remember exactly. So in each of the application you can run in one computer with specific port number. So if you have a front end, you have a back end, you have a multiple application, means multiple back end, multiple front end, you have to be separate them with the unique port number. Any port number you can use. You put the 4,000, you can put any. As long as that port number is not used in this computer at the moment, you should be fine.
so, and then we're going to do app.listen. And then the port number.
Sure.
And then
Line number 8 and line number 9, you're just pinging the system, the API is running. So simply that's it. Am I right?
yes.
So we do this for the line number 8 and line number 9. We do this as part of the best practice because we can write a lot of the API, means a lot of user story convert into the business logic. And we want to make sure that the Express server is running as expected. So we just add the basic code as part of the best practices.
So we can start to see if it works. Okay, we can see that something is not right. Okay, so we probably didn't install cores properly. So
yep, if you make any mistake, once you run on the terminal, you will see the error. So I think he just killed the port number npx node package. What did the X means?
so this is a way of killing any port that's running on your computer. So you could just use npx kill port and then the port number that you're trying to kill, and it basically kills that port basically. One second. Okay, yeah, we have to require cores first. Cores. Yeah, so now it's running. So now we can go to a localhost 4000. Please give me 1 second.
So localhost is nothing but your computer, and then will be actually colon the 4000, the port number we have defined here. So basically, you will be opening your browser and typing the local host on your URL and the colon 4000, and then you should just hit the enter. You should see API running, and that's exactly the code we wrote. Minimize this. Line number 7. Sorry, line number 10.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so our environment is getting ready.
Okay, so that's getting ready. So now we can start connecting to MongoDB.
Sure.
So
as you if you remember how he created a product super quickly, because that product has been stored in a database. In this case, now we are going to start the MongoDB journey.
So now we're going to go to MongoDB Atlas. and then so we're going to create an account so we can just sign up with Google.
Can you explain what is MongoDB Atlas for, so that the everyone will be understanding quickly?
So MongoDB Atlas is basically allows us to use MongoDB. It's like a web browser. It's like a web version of MongoDB. So it allows us to basically access our connect our database.
So basically, instead of you are downloading and installing on your computer, it is just allowing you to use on the web version of the MongoDB. Am I right?
Yes.
Got it. So it is it is the same thing. The using on your computer versus the stuff. When your project get matured, then you can download the MongoDB and then you can manage your the local version, or you can install on the cloud as either you can get the virtual box and then install the MongoDB, or you can use the managed, which is MongoDB is available in each of the cloud. So learn MongoDB and you just give the reason. And
so yeah, so when we're registering, we're going to have to answer some questions. So after we click on our answer, we can just click on finish. And then we can click on M0 because this is the free version. And we can leave everything as it is.
So they're using the AWS, as you see, and the which region, North Virginia. And then you can give your cluster name. Database, we always call the cluster because the data can be coming from the different different front end, the different backend, different backend, but the data actually combining from collectively from one place. That's the reason we call the cluster. Okay, go ahead.
So now we can hit on create. So now we have to basically authenticate ourselves, so we can just do it through the username and password. So
basically now you got your MongoDB. Say, example, you downloaded MongoDB on your computer or the cloud, and you install the MongoDB. Now the first things you have to create a username and password.
So I'm just gonna, so I already have the username here, so I'm just gonna put in like a memorable password because we're gonna need this later. So, and I'm just gonna click on create user. And then we can click on, we can have this as it is. And
so the reason you see the my local computer means that we are actually writing the code on the local machine, and that's the reason we say my local environment, and it actually captured the IP address as well.
Yep. So now we can finish and close and go to overview. So now we have to click on connect.
Yep.
And then now basically this is where we basically connected to our project. So we can connect it through Compass, which is like the web app. I mean, sorry, the desktop app version of MongoDB. Right now we're on the web version, so we can just do it through the web version. That's not a problem. So now we can click on drivers, and we have to make sure that we can leave this as it is, Node.js and 5.5 or later. And in order to use MongoDB in our project, we have to install it with an npm. And then this is basically the connection string that we need to have in our project. So let's do this. So first of all, we're gonna install MongoDB. We can just close the server.
From your terminal, you have to install the MongoDB.
Yep, from the terminal, yes.
You have to be on the same project, remember, so that it will all work. It will all be going to the same place. Okay, so make sure you know the basic thing. So that is done, right?
Yep, that is done. So what we're gonna do is, so basically, as you saw, we have this string And this is very case sensitive, and this is very unique to you. So we're gonna basically put it in our code base in such a way that it's not accessible by other people. So
for the sake of argument, we are using on the code base, but for any professional, the project or the enterprise grade project, we always use the third-party application. For the TS40, we use the Vault. Vault is where we actually store all the code, the secret. So actually nobody can hack it. If they hack, nothing will be happening. So for the learning, we are using we are actually storing the secret on the same project. But for the enterprise solution, we use the third-party software like the Vault. That's where you store all your project secret, any of the API token, API key, all this, so that nobody can actually hack it.
So we created a folder called config, and then inside we have a file called default.json. So in it we have a JSON format structure, and then this is basically the key, like the Mongo URI that I just created, and this is basically the connection string that I got from the MongoDB Atlas. So here, as you can see, this is the username that I put in before, and now it's asking for my password. So I'll just basically enter my password. It's this, I chose to have a password which is the same as my username, so that's what it is. So there's that. And inside the config, we're going to have another file called db.js. DB stands for database. And this is where we're going to actually connect the database to our project. So we're going to do, we're going to do mongoose, const mongoose, and we're going to require it. So let's make sure if mongoose is something we already installed. Yep, it's already installed, and so we don't have to worry about it.
When you have the npm space install space MongoDB, that actually brought it here. If it is not installed, then it will not work, right?
Yep. So we're requiring the config, and let's create a variable called db, and let's do config dot get the Mongo URI. So here, what's happening is we're getting the Mongo URI, the key that we created here from the default.js. We're basically taking it and storing it into the DB variable. And let's create a function called connect DB. It's going to be an async function. And we're going to use a try-catch blocks. Try-catch is something, it's basically used for error handling. That's something that it's widely used in JavaScript. So we're going to do await mongoose.connect db, and then we can just console log MongoDB connected. Otherwise, if there is an error, we're going to console log the error, console.error, and then we can just put the error message in, and then we could just process.exit. So basically, what's happening here is we have a function, and so try-catch block is basically used for error handling. So we're going to try whatever is inside the try block. If there is an error, this catch block is going to catch that error and basically throw the error out so that we know that there's an error. Now we're going to basically export this variable. So that's basically, there's that. And we can go back to our server.js, And basically the ConnectDB that we're exporting here, we're basically going to import it into server.js. ConnectDB it's coming from the config/db. And now that we have the ConnectDB, which basically connects to our function, we have to call the function so that whatever is inside the function actually executes.
So in JavaScript, we call the function. In other programming language, we call the method. A function is nothing but a collective task you are actually putting into a function or in a bucket so that you can call whenever you need it. So the purpose of the function is to rewrite the reusability of the code. You can call them anywhere you need it. And whenever you need to reuse something, you just make a function so that the code become lightweight. It is easy to maintain. And that's the reason he wrote that function. And this is the function he's using multiple places. Maybe you'll be using many other places as we continue.
Okay, so now I just ran the server, and this is basically what we were saying before. So which is basically coming from here, which basically means that the server is running on whatever port we specified, which is 4000. And now we can see the MongoDB connected is also being logged. That means here we're calling the ConnectDB function, and it means that the connection was successful. So we were able to successfully connect to our MongoDB.
So it means we are connected with the backend and the database, am I right?
Yes, we are. Yeah, we are.
We did not write the backend yet. We're just in the project. We just brought the MongoDB. We created the cloud-based MongoDB, and we actually the configured on the project. Did I say it right?
Yes. So basically, our backend project is successfully connected to the database. So now we're going to basically create a structure, like the schema for our products. So
to understand this, the schema, it is important. So means whatever the payload you are sending, can you go back to that the UI, the product interface, so that it will be refreshing for everybody. So this part is important. Go back to the product, please. Yeah. So this is the one. So we are actually going to, that's the one we are going to just create a structure. We call the schema. In the database, we call the schema. And so that's the one we are going to create now. And it is widely used word schema. It's a structure in the database, the terms of the wording.
So here we have created a folder called models, and inside the models we have another file called product.js. So in this file is basically where we're going to define the structure for the product. But in a large scale application, you might have many things that you're dealing with. You might be dealing with users, you might be dealing with many other things. So all of those schemas are going to go under this exact same models folder. So we're going to, since we're going to use Mongoose to create the schema, so we're going to require Mongoose first. So Mongoose.
So in another way, the more the backend logic you're writing, more API you are creating based on the user story, you have to create the schema, because your user story is asking you to create some data, store some data.
Yes. So so this is basically, we're following the convention. So we create a variable called product schema, and then we do mongoose.schema. And so the first property we're going to write is the name. This is basically the name of the product. And so we're going to do, it's basically like a key value pair again. So name is the key, and we have the curly braces. And then, so the type of the name property is going to be a string. String is basically a series of characters. And then we're going to do required true, which basically means that you have to, like, this name value has to be passed. Like, you have to pass in a name value.
Yes, if you do not type the name, then it will say it will fail. So, and
Yes.
we're ensuring in the backend, okay? So that
Yes.
the user from the front end, if the user even making a mistake, the backend will block it. So that's the reason anything we do, the best practice is everything should be controlled from the backend.
Yes. And we can also do validations from the front end as well.
As well, yes.
So this trim equals to true. Trim basically means it's going to remove all the extra empty spaces that you might have. So this is basically removing all the extra white spaces.
So as an example, you are typing this and then you give the 3 space. Is, you give the 2 space. My, you give the 2 space. Product, you give the 3 space. So it will keep 1 space and remain, it will be removing all other space. Am I right?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
So we are driving the, we are ensuring the quality from the coding side. Okay, so if user makes a mistake, it should still work from the system perspective, because system is, we are actually adding that, we added trim.
So for the image, we also have a type string, because as you might have noticed, we are, in order to submit an image, we're actually passing in a URL. So the image URL for the image, so that's a string, so that this is how it's being stored in the database. So the description, we also have a type of string, and we're also going to put in a required. So for the price, we're going to do type a number, and this is also going to be required. And for the product category, we're going to do type string as well, and this is also going to be required. And we also have a field for the brand.
So basically on the payload, the everything we are actually the identifying on the payload, we're actually describing here. And as mentioned in the database, it is actually you are declaring your data type. Can be a string, which is text, can be integer, can be float. So based on the different data type you need on the payload, you need to describe them on your database schema. I hope I am right.
Yes, you're right. So one more, so we're basically done with all the fields. So we have name, image, description, price, category, stock quantity, and brand. One more thing that we're going to add is we're going to do here, like towards the end, we're going to do timestamps is true. So this basically keeps track of when a product was added, when it was edited, things like that.
And then as we mentioned in the JSON format, the left side is the key, right side is the value. That's exactly how the MongoDB or the JSON works. And MongoDB is storing the as a data format, which is the .json.
So now we're going to do product equals to, we're going to model the schema basically. Mongoose
What model means? Can you explain a little bit what is model?
So basically, what it basically, okay, let me just write it first and then.
Sure.
Okay. And now we're going to module.exports equals to product. So basically what's happening is, so this is our schema, the product schema, and we're storing it as a schema. now we're basically turning it into this basically. So, and then we're saving it into this product constant, and then we're basically exporting this.
Got it.
So we can save that. And now we can do so now we can start writing the controller functions now. So first we can we have to set up routes for like the different APIs. So for that we can create a folder called routes, and inside this folder we can have another folder called API. And in this directory, we're gonna create a new folder called products.js. So yeah, we can just keep this folder for now. We're gonna need it later.
Basically, we in any of the web application, mobile application, you see that there is a lot of like the URL you see. We call them simply endpoint. And in the programming side, we call them route. So that's the way of doing, because the product creation. The next week will be the product update, right? And another user still will be /product delete. So again, each on the same URL, but they're actually they have a different endpoint. So today's is product, because we are going to create a product API.
Yes. So since we're going to basically start creating and getting all the products and stuff, so we need to, in order for us to create a product, we have to pass in the image URL, and the image has to be stored somewhere. So for that, we have to, of course, go to set up our Cloudinary. So we can just do that now.
So as mentioned, you can use the Amazon S3 or any other cloud, the storage, because the part of the product, of course, when we create a product, we allow the buyers to see that this product means each of the products should have a multiple images. If you go to the Amazon, and you can see that. So we are using the Cloudinary, that's the storage. So you can sign up for free, then to get it as similar to the MongoDB Atlas.
Yes. So it's very similar to that. We're just going to create an account and get the credentials, and we can use those credentials and set it up in our project. So we can just do developer done. And so as you can see, so this is basically, so they're guiding us on how to set up our environment. So here's basically a bunch of technologies that you can use Cloudinary with. So we're going to use Node.js. So basically what we have to do is, if we don't have the Cloudinary package installed yet, we have to use the npm to install it. And then this is basically the code that connects to our credentials, basically. So we can just go ahead and let's see if we have Cloudinary installed or not. Yes, we already have Cloudinary installed, so we're good on that one. Now we basically have to copy and paste this part and put it into our code. So we can go to server.js and we can just paste it here. And we could just take this and yeah, we have to do Cloudinary.
So as you see, you are going to see again, you are adding the API key, API secret as best practice. We are just showing for the learning and exposing, but the best practice is we use the specific tools. There is many tools in the market. The solution we use the vault. That's where we store all our secret that related to the application you are developing. Can be front end, can be back end, can be database, can be integration. Because an application needs a lot of like the inside and outside the integration. Those integration to get into another system, you always need the API key and API secret, and you should not store in your code base. That's the reason we use the third-party solution. We use Vault.
Yes. So even without using Vault for now, we can also use something called .env. Sure. So we create a new file called .env, and inside the file we're basically going to store all of these secret information, and we're going to basically put it here. So because it's like Sir Shibu said, it's never a best practice to have all these information in the code base just exposed. So we're basically going to create 3 variables real quick. So let's create cloud _cloud and copy this. And so this is going to be the API key. And so when it comes to the API secret, we have to go back to the Cloudinary website. So we can get it from the dashboard. So here's basically the API key. So I could just copy this. And here you can also find the cloud name and the API key here as well. So now I'm going to, so this is the Cloudinary.
So you can give the variable name, anything, but all of
yes.
you should be giving the meaningful name that goes with your application you're developing.
Exactly. So because in a large scale application, you'll have many variables. So it's so that you can distinguish. So let's go back to our server.js. So now we have to require the .env, so we can do require .env .config, and so here we can just remove this. So we're basically going to get the information from whatever we have in the .env file. So for that, we're going to do process.env the name of the variable, which is basically this one.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And let's just copy paste it and then just paste it. And this is going to be the API secret. And that should be enough to, yeah, that's enough to basically, that's all we have to do in order to set up Cloudinary. Is there anything else here? Yep, that's pretty much it.
So one more time, refresh your mind that we have set up the Cloudinary to store our images. When you create a product, we need to upload the images. That's the reason. And we are not storing image in the database. That's not the best practice. The database will be fully loaded. So we are using the third party, the storage, so that the storage will be anytime you upload the pictures, it will go to the storage, and we'll be seeing this once we actually complete the development.
Yes. So So, okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. So now we can get into our controller functions. So we can start by creating the controller folder.
So the controller is where we actually going to write the business logic. So the route is actually your endpoint. The payload is actually you're exposing to the front end or your client or your mobile app or your desktop app. Controller where exactly you are writing the business logic.
So we're in the controller folder and the product page, like the product file. So now, like as Sir Shibu said, this is where we're going to write the business logic. So we're starting off by importing the product schema that we created.
Database schema.
The database schema. And then we're also going to need Mongoose.
Because the driver, we need the driver.
And then we're going to need the Cloudinary because we're going to get the image URL and we have to upload it. So that's why we need it. .v2. Okay, so we're going to start off with the create product. So we can do exports dot create product. I'm going to do an async function. So this is a request and res, which is res means a response. And so this is a post request. So this basically means that when a user fills out the form and sends submit, the user is basically sending us information, and the information is basically stored in the rec.body.
So the action we are going to do as a seller, I am actually going to create a product. So when we do action, means we are actually passing some data, we simply call the post. Okay, so this is the HTTP method. So in this case, line number 5, you see the rack and response. When you're actually, anytime you're actually requesting something and you have to get the response back. So in this case, we are actually creating all this, the name, image, description, price, category, brand. So there's actually, what is all this, the key, right?
Which one?
This line, name, image, description.
Yeah, this is basically, so in this line, we're basically destructuring the request. Yes, so that it becomes easier to handle the data. Otherwise, you would have to do rec.body.name, rec.body.image, and it just becomes very,
okay.
Yeah. So now, this is basically all the data from the user. So now we're going to do some validation. So basically we want the user to provide information for all of these fields. If the user doesn't provide the information for at least one of these fields, that means we're going to throw an error. So that's basically what we're going to do in this if statement. So we do that with an exclamation point. So basically means this basically means if there is no name, or if this name is empty. That's basically what this means. Or there's no image, or if there's no description, or if there's no price, and so on and so forth.
So as you see, when we create the API, we actually put the restriction or the assertion from the backend. So in the payload, many times we say this is required field, this is optional. So now that's the way we actually declare it on the backend, the controller side. That's the way we're writing the logic now. In the logic, we're mentioning what I need, what I don't need it.
Yes.
So it means, remember, when we run any API request, if something is not as expected, we define the 400 series. In the HTTP method, 400 series is the series that we allocate for the user behavior, means user sending some data raw, user doesn't have the access permission, and the user actually the creating some data already exists. So those behavior we actually allocate the 400 series. So here you can call anything you want, any 400 series you want, basically. It's not like you have to call the 400, you can call 404, 403. Again, those are the defined in the API schema when the solution architect designed the API schema. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so basically in this if statement, if any of these fields are empty or any of these fields were not provided by the user, we're basically returning a response. And we're, like Sir Shibu said, we're basically sending a 400 error, and with the message saying that please provide all of the fields.
Yes.
So now we're going to do a try catch block as we did previously. So if we're able to reach this portion of the code, that means that all the fields has been passed, like all the fields has been provided to us by the user. So that means we definitely have the image URL. So we're going to work with it. So image upload some, and then we're going to do a await, and we're going to basically do the cloudinary.uploader.upload, and we're going to pass in the image. So whatever the image URL was given to us, we're basically passing it into this function, this built-in Cloudinary method, basically. And now we have the image URL.
So two things the software engineer does or the developer does when they use the third-party library, they always actually study on that library. Study means how many APIs on that library, what each of the API does. So the API they are going to use in their project, they actually make sure they're understanding each of this API, how to use them, and what is the best practice to use them. So he's writing this the calling those APIs or their function because he went through those the Cloudinary the library itself, and that's the reason he is actually using them.
Yes, the documentation.
Yes, we simply call the API documentation. Yes.
Yes. So what we're doing here is basically, like I said, we're basically uploading it into the Cloudinary, and then we're getting the secure URL from that, and then we're basically storing it into the image URL. And now we're basically creating a new object of the product. So for doing that, we have to basically pass in all the properties. So we basically, whatever the user gave us, we're basically passing in those information in here. And when it comes to the image, we're passing in the secure URL image. That's why this is what it looks like. So once the product is created, we can do await product.save. So this is basically a MongoDB function, MongoDB method. Basically allows us to save. Sorry, this is a Mongoose method. This allows us to save this product object into the MongoDB at once, pretty much. So after the product is saved, we can send a res.status.
So basically what we are doing when as a user of the browser or the mobile app, they type all the information, and the backend validated the yes, user has provided all the information, while at this moment, backend has to go to the database and say, you can save it. That's exactly what is happening here. Am I right?
Yes. So here, so after the product has been saved, we're sending a response of 200, and then we're letting the user know that the product was created successfully, and whatever the product we just created, we're going to return it so that we can see the product we just created.
So what happened, when we are sending something from the postman, the request body, and then we can actually, in the response, we are expecting the same thing, or we can actually expect the less things, or we can expect more things. So this is the response body. Request body is actually a client being the browser, mobile application, or desktop application, or the third party, the vendor. They consume our API, and now they send the data. And now our server, the backend server, will be giving the response back. And that's the reason we say line number 7, line number 27. If client has fulfilled all the data, then now we are going to tell them HTTP 200 means you got it done successfully. HTTP 200 series does all the positive, means the created successfully, or the open successfully. So again, based on the user story, your number will be defined by you, and your description, product created successfully, that will be defined by you to follow the user story.
Yes. So it's pretty much so this is the first function that we created. So this is the post method. So now we can basically route it in the routes.api. I mean, like the routes folder. So in order for us to get the endpoint, we have to get express.
So basically what happened now, so our controller, that's where exactly business logic is stored. Okay. So now we are actually exposing this business logic through the endpoint, which is product.js. And from the client side, they always will know our payload. They will know our endpoint. That's the reason API testing is also called the black box testing, because the client doesn't know how I implemented. Client only knows what I'm exposing to them. So this part is very important to understand the route versus controller, the functionality.
Yes. So now we have the router that we imported. Now we're going to do router dot, and then we're going to specify the HTTP method. So in this case, it's going to be a post method. And
so
then, we also,
in the controller, we did not say anything. In the route, now we are actually telling the post, get, put. This one, we are creating a product. So of course, definitely it is going to be post.
Yes. So the function we just created is called create product. Yep. So we just imported it here from the controller function, as you can see.
Yep.
So now we're going to specify the endpoint.
Yes.
So we can do create, and then we're going to pass in the name of the function.
Yes.
So that's not all. We also have to export this. We're exporting the router basically. And now we have to take it to the server.js. Server.js. Here, we can do it under the get method. This is like a simple test endpoint that we created before. So we can do app.use. We can do /APIs/products. And then we're going to require the routes/product. We can do
You can extend your terminal so you can see. So while you are typing the code, you can see the error if you are making a mistake. And that's actually the part of the software engineering, the best practices. They go through the error, they debug this, and they see the error. So they read what is the error. It seems like the throw new type error. That's actually the telling in the router.use. Require a middleware function, but got a .get type.
Okay, router.use. Okay, let's see. Express.router. Router.post. Requires a middleware function.
So I thought you need to write the middleware function to actually drive the traffic, drive the request through.
One second. Requires a middleware function. Is it in here? Okay, this is unexpected.
So don't you have to create a middleware function? It tells you you can do without middleware function, but it tells you you have to create a middleware function.
I previously did it without the middleware.
Got it.
So that's why I'm just kind of surprised. Let me just look at let me just make sure the package.json. Request is also here.
Yeah, Pratik will join.
I'm actually not too sure what's happening here. Okay, give me just 1 second. Let me just.
So this is the best practices of a software engineering. So when you have this, you'll be the debugging, you'll be reading, you'll be like doing some Google search. You will go back to you will take the message, and that's exactly your best practices. You will not be panicking, or you'll not be doing. And of course, there was the review button, the resolve button. That's the where your the senior software engineer will review your code.
Oh, okay, I think I was missing the S.
Nice.
See, just one letter, and it took like 5 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, so now, so sorry for the delay, everyone. So
You're good. That's the
So,
that's how it should be.
yep, this is the part of the process basically. So yeah, so basically, so just to recap, we created our create product function. We we connected it to our endpoint, and then which is the create, and then we basically connected it to the server.js. So now we can basically test it out in Postman. So
at this moment, our backend is fully done because we do not have any front end. So for the testing, you can use so many tools. That you can use the REST assured, you can use the Postman, you can use the Ready API. There is hundreds of testing tool to test the backend API. In this case, we are going to use the Postman. It is widely open and the open source. So we are actually going to use this.
so
of course, we are going to create we are going to just same way create a feature called the product, and then we are going to create the collection by the user story name. So give the user story number. So your user story number is the 173. Create a product.
Create product.
In the beginning should be 173.
173.
Yep, that's good. So now just create the positive and then create the negative. And then bring the endpoint. Oh, you did not expose you did not implement the Swagger. So go
Swagger,
back.
yeah.
Yeah. So most of the project we need to implement the Swagger so that we don't need to go back to the developer to ask the question. So what did the API look like? What did the payload is? What does it do? How the 200 works? How the 400 works? Forget about all this. So we implement the backend engineer also implement the Swagger that will actually tells us about the details of any given endpoint. So let's go with implement the Swagger in the project. The Swagger is implemented by the backend in the code base.
Okay, so should we implement the Swagger now?
Yes, please. Is it longer time? Does it take?
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, that's fine because it will go. So today is kind of the boilerplate, because next week we will be just the creating another user story update. The next week we'll be creating another user story like the delete. So we are going to use the same project, but the code will be updated, and then we'll start the developing the front end.
So for the Swagger, we have to basically install some packages.
So again, since we are using the Node.js based environment, so everything you have to type npm because that's all the package manager, all the package will go.
Okay.
So now we are going to see in the package.json, we are going to see the Swagger is already installed. Yep. So they see this Swagger-js doc, Swagger-autogen, Swagger-ui, dash express. So this actually once you install the npm, these three things has been added on the package.json. So now we can implement the Swagger for this endpoint we have just developed.
So let's just do Swagger.js. Okay. Okay, so first of all, in the server.js, we're going to require the packages. So Swagger js doc equals to require swagger dash js doc. And then we're also going to do the same for the Swagger UI. That's also a package that we installed. And then UI-express. And this is going to be for the Swagger config. And then swagger-config.json. And okay, so in the swagger.json,
Excuse me.
yes.
Hey, Aman. In the server.js, I think you spelled it as CONGIG for config.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
So when it comes to explaining how to implement Swagger, there's actually not much to explain because it's just basically convention. So we're going to require Swagger dash autogen. Then we're going to do const and the output file. And then go into the Swagger dash output. And then for the endpoints file, routes. And then I'm going to pass in the output file as well as the endpoints file. This is basically all like Google stuff. This is basically it's everywhere on Google.
So basically, if you guys read every day, we update the daily work stream. You see this, we add the Swagger URL, means the more API we are creating, that we are adding the Swagger documents. So basically, that helps the front-end developer, mobile app developer, desktop app developer to read the API endpoint, and they actually identify the payload details before they actually start implementing. And even before they implement, they actually try it out, means they actually try it out on the Swagger, or they actually test it out on the Postman, so that then they can start implementing this endpoint on their client end, which is the mobile app, desktop application, or other application, or the website.
So right now, I just created a swagger-config.json file. That's basically where we're going to be specifying the routes and whatnot. So we have the info inside. We're going to do the version 0.0.0, and then we're going to give it a title of products API. And then we're in the description, API documentation for the products project. I'm going to give it a host name. So our host name is basically, I think we're doing it on localhost 4000.
So it will be, once we deploy, then the host name will be different. So it will be handled different way when the cloud ops engineer actually deploy this on the cloud, on the other server.
and then we're going to do HTTP. And now we're going to set up the paths. So now we only specified one path, so which is the create endpoint. So here we're going to do products/create. We're going to specify the fact that this is a post method.
So remember, because we actually in the routes we said it is a post. That's the reason. So this is not something out of the box. This is exactly you are describing based on your routes.
And then we're going to summarize the endpoint. This is for create a new product.
You just give it the title for that endpoint.
And we're also going to give a description of what this endpoint does. This creates product with the provided details. Now we're going to specify what the parameters that it accepts. This is going to be a JSON name, this is basically what they say in the documentation to write. Now we're going to do the type object. Now we're going to specify the properties. And so the name, so this is basically an example value. So before you write anything, it's gonna say any in the documentation, in the Swagger, like we'll see. So example. So we can just copy paste this a couple times. Description, price.
So that's exactly in your request body in the Swagger. Swagger gives you the interface to try it out. So and try it out means you're actually the inserting you enter the payload means all the details.
So now responses. So now we're going to specify the responses according to the status. So when it's a status of 200, we're going to do a response of something like product created successfully, because it's a status 200. Or when it's a status 400, we're going to do please provide all required fields, because not all the fields were passed.
So there will be then if you create the same product multiple times, then there can be the 401, 402, 403. because that's the way we actually identify all this the HTTP method based on the user data.
Okay, so this is pretty much done for the first. This is basically for the first
API.
API, yes.
Yep.
So now we have to do some more configuration on in the server.js. So let's see. So we can put it here. The const specs equals to swagger JS doc. And let's do swagger definition, swagger config. And then routes JS. Okay. And now we have to specify the endpoint for the swagger.
Yep.
So we're going to do app.use.
That means everything, right?
Yes, everything. So in the docs endpoint is when you should be able to see the swagger UI. Yes. So you have .serve swagger UI .setup, and then the swagger config. Okay, so and now in the package.json, we need to specify the script. So swagger node swagger.js. Now hopefully this runs. So npm run swagger. Npm run server as well. Okay, another error. Let's see. Okay. We have to kill the port.
So you have to rerun them.
Now we can run. Okay, so now it's working. So
let's go to the /docs.
So now, as you can see, the Swagger UI is ready, and we only specified for the create product.
Yep.
So that's why this is the only endpoint we're seeing.
So
and remember when I was showing you the example ending, this is what it.
Yeah, let's go second line. We provided the description, so that's the reason it creates a new product with the provided details, and then we provided the name. We provided the description, and we said the name any. Look at this, everything is here.
Yep. So now we can try it out.
So basically, nothing is coming out of the box. Everything in the backend, in the developer actually the define. That's the reason we can see on the front end. So I want to make sure we know this. Everything has to be the stated and the written.
So let's get an image. So passing in the URL. And then price. And then everything's fine. Now let's do execute. As you can see, the product has been created successfully. And this is the message that we receive, and we're also going to receive the product that we just created. Yep. So if we check it in our MongoDB Atlas, so in order to check, you click on database, and you click on the browse collections. Collection is basically our table, and then product is basically our thing. And as you can see, we have our entire product that we just created. That's right here.
Yep.
So now we know that the
Backend and the database is working. Integration is also working, and we have just tried out through the Swagger. So and we verified that as well. So now we can actually take from the Swagger we can bring it to the Postman.
Okay.
Can go to the Swagger. Can go to the Swagger. You can go back to the
Swagger. Okay.
Yes.
So this is our Swagger.
So you can actually go up, and that's the curl command. You can copy this. Scroll down. Yep, this is the one you can copy.
This whole thing?
Yes.
And now where do I take it?
And you can go to the Postman. And you can actually import right after new. Yes.
Yes.
And then paste. And then just save it now. Save. Click save. Yep. Give a name. Now request name. Create a new product. And select 173 and create a new folder. No. Create a new folder. Create new folder.
New folder.
And just say the positive test.
Positive test.
Okay. Create. And then you can save it. Yep. So you're actually the testing is done.
Yep. So should we do the negative test as well, or should we proceed with the APIs?
Can we create a same thing with the again? See if we can create it again.
Okay, sure.
Can you go to the Swagger and create again? See if we can create it. Don't change anything. Don't change anything.
Yes, we can, I think.
So you see, so there is a bug here because we should not create the same thing. That's the reason where the quality assurance come to the picture.
Yep. Because as you can see, the same thing has been created again.
Exactly. So that's the bug. So anyway, now you can create a bug so that we know that that's the bug. So there is no negative testing here. So let's go back to the Agile ALM, and we are actually wrapping things up here because we already found the bug. Create a bug so you can fix it. Next Monday will be actually the creating a couple more API and the fixing this bug as well. So actually create the new work items. Yep, and create a bug. Sell. Okay. Seller should not be able to create the same product multiple times. As a seller, I should not be able to create the same product more than once. I should be able to see the message, product is already stored. And you can actually the copy and paste your screenshot, you should be good. So we identified the 400, but you see this 400 doesn't do anything. So our goal is just create a bug and assign the bug to the developer so that the developer can take care of the rest. And you put the database screenshot here. No, not done. Put the database screenshot.
Database
Swagger screenshot as well, please.
Okay, so I'll put these
Yes.
Swagger, this one.
Yes.
And the database, this one, right?
Yep, both screenshots, so you can see that we can database screenshot, then the Swagger screenshot, because we are exactly in the backend. We do not have any front end now.
Yes.
Hit enter. Copy and paste. It should work. If you screenshot from there, you can paste it here.
Yes. 1 second.
So we did actually cover the testing as well. And the bug.
Oh, I think you have to do it here.
Okay. No, you can actually copy and paste too, but you're good. Do whatever. works for you.
Okay. There's actually a lot of screenshots, so I'll just try doing copy and paste.
Yep. So get the screenshot.
Oh, okay, it does work.
Yeah, it works.
And I'll just,
You put the risk high. Yep, it's good. When the risk is high, priority should be high. You don't know the effort. Your goal just create the bug.
okay, yeah. So I'll just hit save then.
Yep. So what I only see the PNG. Why I see the PNG? Why is this?
Not really sure.
Go back. How did you get the screenshot?
I just screenshotted it on my computer.
I cannot see that. Can I see?
Here it is.
Oh, this is this the same screenshot you're actually?
This is the one.
Okay, I think probably you have to just
Yeah, I'll update it afterwards.
so open that. What is this bug? So you have to refer this bug with the user story, because this bug is part of the 173.
Yes.
So make sure you
Oh.
have the link the bug with the user story 173. How to do that? You go back to the on the bottom line number. Go create, open. Yeah. Right before the attachment, please. Yep. Link, add link, and then yep, click it, and then here. Yeah. Yes. No. What is it? Yes.
This is the one, right?
No. User story. Create
Oh,
a
this
product.
one. Yes, this one.
Save. Close. Save. Oh, did you save it? Let's go see if we can see it.
Yes, save.
Yep. Now you can go back to your board, sprint board, task board, and open the yeah. Go back. Create a product. No. Create a
This is the
product.
create. Yeah.
Now go back to the link again and see that it is linked or not. It did. That's how it
Yeah.
works. So yeah. Okay. So okay, because you have all the chat, close it, and then now you can actually you can Pratik, are you available?
Yes.
Can you go back to all the code quickly? Go ahead, do a quickly code review, please.
Okay. So you want to start with the
Yeah, you just show what you stored here so that he can look at it quickly if everything is good.
So app.use get. So we have the global endpoint. Okay. Where is the database?
the MongoDB Atlas.
No. Click on the db.js. Okay, config. Go to the config file.
Okay, not this one. You mean this one?
Yeah, it's good. Go to the route API app. Router.post create. Go to the controller, create product. Async read body. Yes, it's good.
All right, please go ahead, go to the GitHub, create the repo project, and push this repo to the GitHub. So basically,
Okay.
we do the code review two way. One is like this technical review meeting. Another is you push the code to the GitHub, and you share your repo with your senior engineer, and they will look at it. If they have any feedback, they can make a comment. So you have to create a repository. So create a product, create products. Yeah. and then let it go public, is fine. And then create a repository. And then, yeah. So now. So basically, we're going to push our code here, and then we'll give you the link so that everybody can have it.
Okay.
It's already have
Okay, I have to initialize Git first.
Yeah. Clear the screen, please.
Yes.
Ayman, do you have the git ignore file? Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, I should add them. So I'll just
Dot git ignore.
No,
Yeah.
dot git ignore.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then node modules. We just want to like skip this folder to push.
Yeah. So each time this folder will be ignored when the code is pushed. Means the Git will not see this file. Am I right?
Yes.
So anything we want to mention here, it will not be. Why we do not want to actually the share our environment information in the Git, because that's the privacy. So any of the private information we just we are telling the Git to ignore. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Yes.
What are you doing? You go in the terminal.
Yep.
Yep, so everything is pushed. Just refresh your repo. Yep, everything is here, and you can give the link to everyone on the main group chat and on our portal group chat. So everybody will have it. You guys can download it. And the CloudOps folks, the February CloudOps, good luck. You guys can give it a try to deploy on the AWS. We have done very good job. Sorry guys, we took extra 13 minutes, but we have covered the one user story from the beginning to the end. We have actually touched so many tools and technology. We have actually started from the scratch. So it is the very important exposure for the quality assurance cloud ops, and very important for the modern stack. As you see, to do something, how many things you had to touch to actually make things happen. So of course, it helps you. At the same time, you appreciate that what goes behind of a software development. We'll see you guys next Monday again. So next Monday, we'll actually creating a couple more the backend API. And then the following Monday, we'll be actually creating the front end, the HTML and CSS. And then actually we start the front end and back end, the integration. And then the fun part will start. We'll be testing on the front end. Thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Ayman. Thank you, Pratik, for the review. And